air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, this is iRadio 1 o'clock news. First, here are the headlines. The Commissioner for Customs Service has suspended the implementation of an increase in exchange tax rate on goods imported into the country until the end of next month. The Vice President for Youth Cluster has cautioned the country against diverting attention from implementation of the peace agreement to the Nile-dragging controversies. And doctors in the Democratic Republic of Congo has offered free medical treatment to the 8-year-old girl suffering from severe injuries after she was molested several months ago. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Lugala Mulai, and now the news in detail. The Commissioner for Customs Service has suspended the implementation of an increase in the exchange tax rate on goods imported into the country until the end of next month. The suspension comes after transporters and clearing and forwarding agencies at the Nimule border point protested the new exchange rate. On the 15th of July, the Commissioner General of the National Revenue Authority issued a circular revising several taxes, fees, levies upward with effect of July 18th this month. According to the circular, the exchange rate for conversion of merchandise value from US dollars to South Sudanese pounds has been increased from 90 South Sudanese pounds per $1 from 45 South Sudanese pounds to $1. Commissioner General Patrick Kennedy Mugoya said the decision is part of the implementation of the Financial Act 2021-2022, which the Parliament passed and was signed by President Salva Kiir on the 9th of June 2022. However, the clearing agencies and the traders say the National Revenue Authority notified them in a very short period and they were caught off guard. As a result, traders and transporters protested the move, asking for more time. This has led to a backlog of trucks and vehicles at the Nimule border point in the past few days. Daniel Deng, who is the head of Custom Clearance Agency, says they were able to clear about 10 trucks since Monday due to the new charges.
We just received the letter when we were about to when the time for the working hours elapsed. We are waiting for tomorrow whether this communication here will be effective or not. So if the order from the Director General for Customs or the Commissioner for Customs will be effective, and then automatically tomorrow, then the work will resume normally. But unless if the communication from the National Revenue Authority is still effective, that the communication from the Customs Division cannot overturn it, and then which means it is only those clients who are able to pay or to comply with the new financial act whose their cargo will proceed to give up.
However, in a letter issued yesterday, the Commissioner for Customs Service Division suspended implementation of the new exchange tax rate until next month. The one-month deadline is for traders and clearance agencies to adjust to the changes. Major General Akola Madut directed all the chiefs of customs in the country to execute the exchange rate by August 22nd, 2022. However, the chairperson of the clearance agency says once this new exchange tax is implemented, it will affect both traders and the citizens. But Daniel Deng said the citizens will be the ones to suffer the most because the prices of the commodities will double.
From the general public and the consumers, the general public, the price of the consumers and the traders, it will affect us negatively because this is the increment of the taxes, which means the clearance of the goods is 100% increase. So you're assuming that you used to pay all the cost of the cargo used to be having like 200,000 SP, which means it will go to 400,000. So if the cost of the clearance has been increased 100%, the same thing may also be applied at the market. Because once when there's a slight increment or on the taxes, and then the traders will not sit down and relax, they will automatically increase the price of the goods in the market.
Meanwhile, in the neighboring Kenya, the government on Wednesday suspended fees and levies on imported goods to cushion her citizens from the rising high cost of living. President Kenyatta's directives came amid his persistent prices hike in the country in the past few weeks, causing a public outcry. In a televised address to the nation from the country's state house, President Uhuru Kenyatta removed the taxes to reduce the price hikes and ease the citizens' suffering.
And effective immediately, number one, the railway development levy on all imported maize shall stand suspended. Number two, the import declaration fee, IDF, on all imported maize is also hereby suspended. Number three, maize flour shall retail across the entire territory of the Republic of Kenya at the price of Kenya shillings 100, down from Kenya shillings 205 for a 2 kg packet until otherwise directed. This program of a subsidy of approximately 105 shillings per 2 kg pack of maize meal is meant to lower the cost of living for vulnerable households as we look for a sustainable solution to the recurrent rising prices of unga every election.
President Kenyatta called on corporate citizens, the political class and the government to exercise high civic responsibility. The Vice President for Youth Cluster has questioned the country against diverting attention from the implementation of the peace agreement to the Nile-dragging controversies. Rebecca Nyandeng returned to Juba on Tuesday after nearly a 2-week trip to Nairobi, Kenya, where she underwent medical treatment. Upon her arrival at the Juba International Airport, Nyandeng said she missed the opportunity to participate in the public discussion on the matter. However, she said that dragging the Nile should not be a priority to the country as for now, but completing the remaining critical tasks of the peace agreement.
Not the issue of dragging. So don't let us open other avenues or divert the attention. When the end of transition is almost going there, and then we bring another issue, dragging, and then divert the attention of the people of South Sudan. You never know who's angry there to do something very silly there to help the people of South Sudan. We don't want to lose a life for such things.
Vice President Nyandeng went on to say she is in support of the decision by the president to suspend the dragging-related activities until feasibility studies are carried out. According to her, Salva Kiir has demonstrated leadership after listening to the call by the common citizens to halt the move to allow for proper assessment.
I did not say anything, but today I just wanted to give my support for those who say that the feasibility study must take place first. Because I also say that when they do feasibility study, and also public has to be educated about really what is going on in our country. At the same time, I wanted to support and appreciate what the president has done to suspend this because it was going to cause problem, and South Sudan will not afford another problem. So I also thank him for doing that. That's how the leadership is.
You are listening to iRadio News. Doctors in the Democratic Republic of Congo have offered free medical treatment to the 80-year-old South Sudanese girl suffering from several injuries after she was molested several months ago. On Saturday, a surgical consultant at Juba Military Hospital appealed to well-wishers to save the little girl after learning the family had no capacity to pay for her treatment. The medical professional said the minor is suffering from fistula after she was raped by a grown-up man in the outskirts of Juba in September last year. This caused a bacterial infection which can lead to sepsis and even death. Upon seeing this, James Lual Akech, a midwife by profession, took it upon himself to call his counterparts in other countries to save the toddler. Luckily, LF Farm, a hospital in Bukavu in the DR Congo, headed by Dr. Denis Mukwege, who is an award-winning Nobel Prize for his work in repairing bodies and mental health of women who are sexually bruised by soldiers and rebels, has offered a free medical treatment to the ailing girl. Dr. Denis and the team will also offer free accommodation, cater for their medical bills as she undergoes free surgery at Penzi Hospital. James Luala Kate spoke to iRadio on the progress made so far.
Immediately after we received the information on radio here, we send the issue to our friend outside. So immediately our friend outside they intervene, and they are going to offer free of charge for the treatment of the young girl. So far our arrangement has been done. And yesterday I talked to Dr. Ajat. So today this afternoon we are going to meet with them and together with the family. So we brief them on the update that we made. We are going to tell them the hospital where the child is going to be taken, and then the other substance we are going to offer for them. And then we also demand for them to bring the traveling documents so that we process the traveling, their visas and their tickets so that they can go, be taken to DRC, Congo.
The young girl was a victim of sexual assault by a 29-year-old man, a member of the unit of the organized forces in the outskirts of Juba in September 2021. Finally, before moving on to stories making headlines in the region and the international scene, the government and the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization have secured $9 million for the revival of several agricultural schemes across the country. The Agriculture Minister Josephine Lagu said the fund will benefit the Awil Rice scheme and other schemes in Kapoit and Warrap State. Josephine says the finance was released last year after the government lobbied for assistance from continental financiers to help boost the local production. She spoke to iRadio in Juba yesterday.
We really tried to lobby a lot, from the development partners to see if, we could get some funding for rehabilitating the Awil Rice scheme. Fortunately, indeed, we were able to get some grant from the same financiers, that is the African Development Bank. They gave us a grant last year to the tune of about 9 million. This 9 million is already allocated for Awil Rice scheme. The Awil Rice scheme is going to benefit from that 9 million, but it's not the only scheme that is going to benefit. There are also other schemes. There's another scheme in Kapoita South or Kapoita North. There's also another scheme in Warrap, which is also going to benefit from these 9 million.
Yesterday, Minister Josephine Lagu disclosed the government had partners will travel to northern Bahr Ghazal State for the launch of the rehabilitation of farming machinery at the Awil Rice scheme next month. Minister Josephine Lagu said the project to revive Awil Rice scheme is being implemented by the Food and Agriculture Organization and the African Development Bank. Meanwhile, the official pointed out that the intercommunal violence in the country may pose hindrance to the government to boost agricultural production across the country.
This is a church land, and the government is interfering with the freedom of religion and interfering with the right to own property.
Sorry for playing the wrong clip, but here is Josephine Lagu with the right clip there.
I think it's been really affecting our capability to produce enough food for ourselves, in my view, are two. One, the ongoing conflict at the sub-national level in parts of the country. Because when there is conflict in the rural areas, the farmers cannot go and cultivate. Okay? There's no security. There's no personal security guarantee. This directly affects ability or inability of farmers to go and cultivate. But in addition to that, also as a country, we have limited resources.
You are listening to iRadio News. Now to stories making headlines in the region and the international scene, brought to you by MTN. Here is Kafuki Jada.
Momo is alive with Momo. 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 Momo, Matanesi to better boom. Better boom. It is struggle for Medina. Yala answer MTN mobile money. Ijibula ita fursa. Bedun ko. Alam guru staki wele bi woduru. Alam guru staki wele bi serebu. Telena trust MTN mobile money. at the active.
Thank you, my colleague Lugala Mula in the studio. And now to the regional and international news. Technology giant Meta has taken down thousands of posts targeting Kenyan users on its social media platform Facebook for violating its policies ahead of the August elections. 4 years ago, bosses at the now defunct British consultancy firm Cambridge Analytical were apparently caught on camera boasting of the control they had exerted in Kenya's disputed 2017 presidential poll, and their company was accused of mining Kenyans' personal data on Facebook to help President Uhuru Kenyatta win. Facebook now says in a new report that it has pulled down more than 37,000 posts for promoting hate speech and 42,000 for violating its violence and incitement policies in the 6 months leading up to 30th April. Elsewhere, African leaders will meet Joe Biden in Washington in mid-December for the first major summit organized by the U.S. for the continent. A statement from President Biden said the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit scheduled for 13th and 15th December will underscore the importance of U.S.-African relations and increased cooperation on the shared global priorities. President Biden has not visited any African country since becoming a president, but has hosted several leaders from the continent, including President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya and South Africa's Cyril Ramaphosa. Last week, Mr. Biden met Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in Jeddah. And finally, Russia has resumed pumping gas to Europe through its biggest pipeline after warnings it could cap or halt supplies altogether. The Nord Stream 1 pipeline started following a 10-day maintenance break, but at a reduced level. On Wednesday, the European Commission urged countries to cut gas use by 15% over the next 7 months in case Russia's switched off Europe's supply. Russia supplied Europe with 40% of its natural gas last year. This is all from the regional and international news. Back to you, my colleague in the studio.
Thank you very much, Kafuki Jada, for taking us through what is making headlines in the region and the international scene. Now to the world of sports. Here is Moyo Jacob.
First in local sports, a South Sudanese basketball player for Lakers at the NBA, Wenyen Gabriel, has this morning arrived in Juba. He came with some young players from the United States who will be training the local players in South Sudan. They will also host a basketball camp for teenagers between the age of 8 to 18 years. The camp will take place at Dr. Biar Jubawan and Nimratlata Basketball Complex from 22nd to 24th July. The draws for the upcoming club championship by the Council of East and Central Africa Football Association has been disclosed by the SECAFA Executive Director Auko Gecheo at Mohammed VI Complex, Morocco. South Sudan's representing team, the A John Stars, are drawn to Group B together with the C Corporate of Uganda, Simba Queen of Tanzania, and GRFC Djibouti. According to the National Football Governing Body, the Group A consists of Central Bank of Ethiopia, Warriors QFC of Zanzibar, Fofila PF of Burundi, and Kigali WFC of Rwanda. The tournament, which will also be qualifiers for the Total Energies CAF Women's Champions League, will take place on August 14th to 28th in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Everton boss Frank Lampard has told his players they have to be better. I have to be better if they want to avoid another relegation battle this season. Lampard was speaking after his side's 4-0 defeat by Minnesota United on their pre-season tour in the United States. Everton secured Premier League safety last season with a win against Crystal Palace in their penultimate game. And finally, in athletics, Britain's A-list MC Colgan and Jessica Jude are through to the 5,000 meters final at the World Championships in Oregon, and Matthew Hodgson-Smith is in the 400 meters final, but medal hope Max Baggin withdrew from the 800 meters with injury. MC Colgan ran a season's best 14 minutes, 56.47 to advance, and Jude 14 to 57.64. Caster Semenya's 15 to 46.12 was not enough to qualify. However, with the South African middle distance great running the 5,000 meters because he is barred from races between 400 meters and a mile over her testosterone levels. Semenya, a two-time Olympic champion and three-time world champion over 800 meters, finished 13th in her heat, around 45 seconds of the time required to reach the final. The 31-year-old cannot compete at her preferred distance unless she takes medication to reduce her testosterone levels. End of the sports news, and back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Moyo Jacob, for taking us through the world of sports. You are listening to iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here are the headlines once again. The Commissioner for Customs Service has suspended the implementation of an increment in the exchange tax rate on goods imported into the country until the end of next month. The Vice President for Youth Cluster has cautioned the country against diverting attention from implementation of the peace agreement to the Nile-dragging controversies. And doctors in the Democratic Republic of Congo have offered free medical treatment to the 80-year-old girl suffering from severe injuries after she was molested several months ago. That is the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there's a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on Twitter at iRadio Juba. Like our Facebook page, iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1:30. I had been Lugala Mulai. Thanks for listening.